A lot of people claim Social Security at 62, and the reason is almost always the same. They say, I want to take it while I can still enjoy it. And that sounds reasonable, but here's what a lot of folks miss. Claiming at 62 instead of 70 could cost you about $2,212 per month for the rest of your life, and that is a big number. And the biggest reason to wait is not just the bigger monthly check, it is what this decision can do for your spouse if one of you dies first. And it is what it can do for your taxes in the years before 70. I'm Mark Fonville, a certified financial planner at Covenant Wealth Advisors, and we help people make retirement income decisions like this every day. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 really good reasons waiting until 70 can be one of the smartest retirement moves that you make. So reason number 1, the check is dramatically bigger. Let's start with the obvious one. If you claim early, your check is permanently reduced. If you wait, it keeps growing. For every year you delay past full retirement age, your benefit increases by 8% per year until age 70. So if you claim at 62, you get roughly 70% of your full benefit. If you wait until 70, you get about 125% of it. That is not a small bump. That is about a 75% increase in your monthly check. In 2026, the maximum benefit amount is about $2,960 a month at 62. Wait until 70, and that grows to about $5,181 per month. That is the $2,212 per month gap I mentioned at the start. So before we get into strategy, taxes, or survivor planning, just start here. Waiting can create a much larger guaranteed income floor for life, and that matters a lot in retirement. Now, reason number 2, the break-even point comes sooner than most people think. Now let's deal with the biggest objection right away. A lot of people say, sure, the check is bigger at 70, but I missed 8 years of payments. And that is certainly true. If you wait, you do give up years of income on the front end. But the question is, how long does it take to actually catch up in the first place? Well, for many people, the break-even point is around age 78. That is earlier than a lot of people expect. And after that, the advantage of waiting keeps getting bigger. By 80, the delayed strategy can put you well ahead. By 85 or 90, the difference can become very large. And one reason the gap widens faster than people think is inflation. Social Security gets cost of living increases, and those increases compound on whatever base you may lock in. So if your starting check is much bigger, future inflation adjustments are bigger too. And that means waiting is not just about a bigger check at 70, it is about a bigger inflation-adjusted check for the rest of your life. Now, reason number 3, this may be even more important if you're married. Now, here's the part many folks overlook. If you are married, this is not just a decision about your retirement income. It is also a decision about survivor income. And for many couples, that is the real issue. Let's say the higher earner claims early at 62. Years later, that spouse dies. So what happens? Well, their surviving spouse may get some protection under Social Security rules. But in many cases, the survivor still ends up with a much lower monthly benefit than they could have had if the higher earner had waited. Now, compare that to the higher earner waiting until 70. If that larger benefit is already locked in, their surviving spouse may be able to inherit that larger amount. That can mean thousands more per month for the rest of their survivor's life. Think about that for just 1 second. Waiting until 70 is not just about maximizing your own check. It may be one of the best ways to create a stronger income floor for your spouse if one of you dies first. That is why I think this decision is often misunderstood. People think it is about getting the most money while both spouses are alive. A lot of the time, it is really about protecting the surviving spouse later on. So reason 4, if you have real assets, the odds may favor waiting. Now let's talk about one assumption this whole decision depends on. How long are you likely to live? because the longer you live, the better waiting looks. And this is where affluent retirees need to be careful about using average statistics. If you have substantial assets, good health care, and flexibility around when to claim, you are probably not in the same category as the average claimant. Research has shown that higher income people often live meaningfully longer than lower income folks. That does not guarantee anything for any one person, but it does matter. If you are healthy, financially secure, and likely to live into your 80s, waiting until 70 can go from just pretty good to dramatically better. That is not a bet on living forever. It is a bet that you might live a fairly normal lifespan for someone in your financial position. And for many affluent retirees, that is a very reasonable bet. Now, reason 5, waiting can open up a tax planning window. Now, here's the part many wealthy retirees really need to understand. Waiting until 70 may give you a valuable planning window between retirement and the start of Social Security. Those years can be useful. Why? Well, because before Social Security starts, you may have more flexibility to do things like Roth conversions. Once Social Security begins, extra income can make more of your benefit taxable, and that can make tax planning just more complicated. But before benefits start, you may have a cleaner window to reposition some traditional IRA money into Roth accounts, and that can potentially reduce future taxes. It can potentially reduce future required minimum distributions, and it can give you more flexibility later in retirement. Now, this is very case specific. It depends on your income, filing status, Medicare thresholds, other assets, and overall tax picture. But the big idea is simple. Waiting until 70 does not just mean a bigger Social Security check. It may also create better tax planning opportunities in the years leading up to 70. And that is one more reason this decision is bigger than most people realize. So here's a quick example. Let me make this real for you. Say you have a couple with around $4 million in liquid assets. They do not need Social Security at 62 to pay the bills. So for them, this is not really a cash flow decision. It is really a strategy decision. If the higher earner claims early, they get income sooner, but they lock in a smaller monthly benefit. They may also leave their surviving spouse with less income later, and they may reduce their flexibility for tax planning. If the higher earner waits until 70, 3 things may happen. 1, they create a larger lifetime benefit. 2, they may create a much stronger survivor benefit. And then 3, they may preserve a better tax planning window before benefits begin. And that is why I would not look at this as a simple take it now or take it later decision. For the right household, it can affect income planning, tax planning, and spousal protection all at once. Here are 2 objections people always raise with me. The first is, what if I die early? That is a real risk. If you delay and die earlier than expected, waiting may not pay off the way it would for someone who lives much longer, and that is true. But on the other hand, many people in their 50s and 60s underestimate how long retirement actually lasts in the first place. For a lot of affluent households, longevity risk is the bigger risk. The second objection is, what if Social Security gets cut? Also fair. There may be future changes, but even if future benefits are reduced, a reduced larger benefit can still be worth more than a smaller benefit claimed early. So while policy risk is certainly real, it does not automatically destroy the case for waiting. It just means this decision needs to be run through a real plan. So here's the takeaway. Waiting until 70 is not always the right move, but for the right person, it can do a lot more than just increase a monthly check. It can improve lifetime income. It can strengthen survivor protection, and it can create better tax planning opportunities before benefits begin. So if you are within 10 years of retirement and you want straightforward guidance on Social Security, taxes, Medicare, and retirement income, subscribe to the channel. That is exactly what we cover here. And if you have over $1 million saved for retirement and want help building a strategy around Social Security, taxes and the rest of your retirement plan, go to covenantwealthadvisors.com and book a strategy session, or just use the link in the description below. We'll walk you through the numbers for your situation and help you decide whether waiting until 70 actually makes sense for you. Thanks so much for watching.